Welcome to Spooky Saturday, where the stories tend to make you stand on end, and I'm not talking just hair. Your sanity is optional here, so let's dive into tonight's tale.
There's something about silence in the woods that hits differently, especially when it happens all at once. 1 second you're surrounded by the hum of crickets and night wind. The next, it's like the whole mountain is holding its breath. That's what Emerson remembered most. That, and the woman. Hello, Paranormal Poet. My name is Emerson, and I've been listening to your Spooky Saturday series for a while now. I never thought I'd actually send something in, but, well, here we are. This happened in May of 2014, and it's haunted me ever since. Not like a ghost following you kind of haunting, more like a creeping, quiet realization that what we experienced that night was something unnatural, something we couldn't explain. It happened deep in the mountains of Mexico. I was there on a hunting trip with my dad, my uncle, and 2 of my closest friends. My uncle knew the area well and invited us to the site, a place he and his brother used to camp as kids. It had an open field, shade from all the trees, and great hiking trails to venture down. The first night, nothing out of the ordinary happened. It was a peaceful sleep. That would soon change on night 2. On the second night, we'd set up the campfire. We sat around, began chatting about life, and along the way, enjoying a nice hearty dinner. It was calm out, and to burn off the cabin fever, someone suggested a short night hike. I wasn't much of a hiker, but either way, I was thrilled and agreed. Looking back, I'm really glad my uncle brought his rifle. I couldn't imagine what would happen if he hadn't. Anyway, we found this weird side trail that none of us ever remembered from the map. My dad swore he hadn't been there before. Probably a new service road for loggers he didn't know, but there was no trespassing signs anywhere, so we continued on this dirt path for a quarter mile. And one thing I noticed was, as we stepped further into it, the woods got quiet. No wind, no crickets, nothing but the sound of our boots on the dirt. And that's when we saw her. Leaning against a tree just ahead was a woman. She was barefoot, wearing a shredded dress that looked like it had been aged quite drastically. Her hair was long and dark, hanging over her face, but we could see her eyes without pupils, just dark, cloudy voids. She didn't speak, didn't move, just stared at us, and somehow we all instinctively knew we shouldn't be there. We turned and bolted, no hesitation, just raw panic. We ran for what felt like 10 seconds back in the opposite direction, to camp. But when we rounded this huge boulder we had landmarked earlier, something was wrong. We were right back at the start of the trail. Same tree, same woman, same dead eyes. We tried again and again. Every time we ran, we just ended up back in the same place. We were essentially trapped. We were caught in some invisible vice grip, stuck in a paranormal loop. This was the kind of concept that existed in movies, except now I was the one experiencing it, and I wasn't experiencing it alone either. I've never seen terror like that on my dad's face. My friends were shaking. We had rifles, but somehow we knew bullets wouldn't help. We weren't dealing with something physical. But then, my uncle, out of desperation, raised his rifle, not at the woman, but at the ground beneath her, and fired. The dirt exploded with a bullet hit, and that apparently was enough. The woman shrieked, inhuman, bone-shaking, and took off into the woods like something out of a nightmare. Suddenly, the sound returned. The woods felt normal again. The crickets, the wind. This time, when we ran, we didn't loop. We found camp. We didn't speak. We didn't sleep much either that night. For a solid 5 minutes, we just sat there, frozen in disbelief, and attempted to sleep the remaining night until morning came. I still don't know what we saw. A ghost? A curse, maybe? Some kind of guardian of that trail? All I know is we were caught in something beyond our understanding. A loop, a supernatural trap, and somehow, breaking it required just enough force to remind it we were real. Anyway, I thought you might find this story interesting. You know, I haven't been back to those mountains since, and I'll never walk an unfamiliar trail at night ever again. If you enjoyed this true story and wish to see more like it in the future, don't forget to hit subscribe if you are new, click that like button for me, and comment what moment did it for you. If you love true, paranormal, scary stories in audio-only format, you are in the right place, so tune in every Saturday at 9 p.m. PST for new stories every week.
Through the static and the silence, a whisper calls your name, a voice that chills your spirit, yet soothes you all the same.